I'm on a stool, I'm on my pedestal, and I'm gonna give you the stew. Here's the deal. I was just a wee little boy, 5, 6 maybe even. So obviously you can tell by my glorious wrinkleless face that Godzilla was out way before me, or a lot of people in this case, but that's not a bad thing. You know, it's like you can't change your age. Not getting into that. Here's the deal. I remember getting into Godzilla through my cousins. I was always a big monster fan. I was never into cars, you know, toy cars as a kid like everybody else was. Well, boys, you know, or some girls. I actually know a few girls. And I wasn't into Barbies either. I was into monsters, Transformers, anything of that mind. But for some reason, I didn't like cars. I didn't like cars, but I still don't like cars for some reason. So the thing is with Godzilla, right? And I didn't even know. If you had told me, I wouldn't have known, because I didn't have internet or any way of knowing what Godzilla was. We go to my cousin's house and they start playing the movie on VHS, by the way. If you don't know what a VHS is, then I'm sorry. But yes, I lived in the VHS area, so maybe I'm not too young. Although it's not that far away. Isn't that amazing how people around my age, and you can find out my age. We live in such a beautiful time where we're seeing technology grow. Maybe we won't get to see the full extent of what we can be as a technological race, but in reality, who does? You know, even when our children or the children's children get to be in that period, things change. And that's one of the things I like about Godzilla, that even though time has changed, what he is kind of hasn't. But I'll get more into detail in a while. So they play the DVD because they would VHS, because they would play VHS like just randomly. You know, that's what we used to do back in the day. You bought movies and you replayed them and watched them over and over and over. Sort of like how people play Call of Duty over and over, or Fortnite over and over. It was the same thing with movies back in the day. And, you know, it was fun. I didn't have no time to think of, oh man, it's the same movie again. No, you enjoyed it every time. It was like if you were watching it the first time. So I don't know if you guys felt that, but I did, you know. The thing with Godzilla, it was black and white, obviously. And I was one of those people who didn't like black and white, but the whole idea and concept of Godzilla was just mind-blowing. And it was even more mind-blowing because my cousins are primarily female, one male, kind of, if you can call them that. But so if I found it strange that they even had Godzilla. Now that I think about it, it's even more strange now that I think about it. But anyways, they put Godzilla, and they put Godzilla versus, what was his name? Damn it. See, when you're filming a video, it's so funny how you forget, right? But they had a couple, and I actually wanted to take them home, but you know, they didn't let me take them home. But they had some in black and white, some in color. So they had quite a bit of these. So somebody there was into Godzilla, although I never found out who was into Godzilla, because none of them seemed to be interested in the big lizard, right? So unless it was their dad. But that's how I started getting into Godzilla. And then I had this really good friend, and to this day, that's why I say really good friend. We live far away, but still communicating once again. You know, if we hook up, we'll still be cool friends. I told him about it. I'm like, oh, Godzilla. And he's like, oh, wait, you didn't know Godzilla? It's like, he was one of the huge nerds like me, and he's the one who explained more of it. He's the one who always knew what anime was up and about, you know, he was the word on the street, and he started telling me about Godzilla, and I'm like, how did I not know about this? And I remember even back then thinking to myself, if it wasn't for that VHS, I wouldn't have found this, something that I liked. That's one of the beautiful things about growing in technology, that we're able to find things that you wouldn't have imagined. But back in then, I didn't have that luxury. You know, it's just so wonderful and beautiful how that was able to happen. And it's thanks to my cousins just having a VHS of Godzilla. And this is to all of you, those who may consider yourselves true fans, and you may say, where's the collectibles? Right? I've never been much of a collector, even for things I really love. This is not my style. I feel like that's a hole I don't want to dig into. If I really am passionate about something, I will get something, one thing or something, but I'm not the type to go out and buy every statue, every figure, which sometimes does suck, because I wish I had that, you know, the figure. I wish I had this one or that one or the statue, but either way, I've never been much into the statue collectors. But it's a hole I don't want to dig into. I will get the movies though, and in 4K. That's something I will contribute to, movie sales. You know, because at the end of the day, that's how the director and everybody gets their cut of the money, more than, you know, a toy sale. But that's just my thought on it. What's yours? So then came the fun part after being introduced to Godzilla. What better thing to do than find a way to watch him, right? So that's what I started doing. I got into the world of Godzilla, or Gojira. I did the best I could do to find everything, every video, just anything I could find. Now, I said earlier that I didn't want the whole statue and collectibles. That doesn't mean I didn't get toys to play with. I got toys, but being a kid who loves monsters, I was a little reckless with them. So you can kind of imagine what happened. Also, I have a little atmosphere going on around here, so I hope you guys don't mind. You know, it kind of makes the dull, quiet moments a little more resistible. I really love the whole genre of sci-fi fiction, or any form of combination. For example, Cloverfield, Godzilla, robots, and Transformers, as I mentioned before, and even in games. I also love mythology, where Godzilla, you can look at it from a mythology standpoint of view, you can look at it from a sci-fi point of view, you can look at it from a fantasy point of view. And that's the beauty. He fits in all genres that I like, but he goes much deeper, as you know. Godzilla stands for a symbol of, well, the atomic bomb. He is the atomic bomb, just a force to be reckoned with. And in some cases, he's not a force against humanity at all. They just happen to be in the way, because it's nature taking its course. The way an earthquake can be taken as such a destructive thing, but nothing can stop it. We don't have weaponry, we don't have a scientific way of stopping it, or even predicting it sometimes. Maybe you can predict maybe an idea, but you can never really be prepared for it if it is on a greater scale. At least not yet. There are ways that they can help prevent large-scale collateral damage, but we don't really have full control of it. For example, you can predict the tsunami if the shore doesn't come back, if the water, goes really far. You kind of have an understanding of a tsunami's coming, but you can't do anything about it. You're dead if you're close, or even if you're far, you're still going to feel some of the effects. So there is no stopping, and that's the same thing with Godzilla. He is a force to be reckoned with. And I like that idea, where it wasn't... Well, in the movies, they do beat him, per se, but he always seems to come back. Because the thing with Godzilla, it isn't just the Godzilla, it's Godzilla in general. As in, there can be more than one. But that's the thing. You never really know there's more than one. You're always left wondering, is he the same Godzilla? Is he different ones? Is it a species? Is it biological creation? What is it? I think we can all take something from this. I swear, that thing only makes noise as soon as I start recording. Like, I've stayed quiet and it doesn't make noise. I hate that fire alarm. Okay. I think we all need to take this in a different way, where it's... Take it as a lesson. Even if you don't like monster movies, I encourage you, please, even if you use it as a school assignment, like, challenge yourself. Watch one of the movies, preferably the older ones. The new ones, I like them, but the older ones are what they were made for. Less, at least the first one, less of the monster fighting and more of the force to be reckoned with. Or you can watch Shin Godzilla, which is another good one, but it's like a side movie, because you're not aware of the lore and stuff. So take it as a project, watch it, study it, and like I said, whatever angle you're hoping to get, whether it's environmental, whether it's politics, science, anti-science, but not, I don't mean against science, I mean the bad things that happen with too much power in the scientific hands, because they do kind of touch on that, but it isn't like, oh, thanks to science this happened. It's more of like, if I use science against it, wouldn't I become a monster too? So let's get on to the final part of the video, which is me giving my theory on the new Godzilla vs. Kong movie. Now, as you've seen, everybody's already theorizing on probably the easiest theory there could be, which is Godzilla's mecha-godzilla, right? But then again, I don't think it's explained very well in the way of how they got to that point to having mecha-godzilla, because it really isn't something that you just happen to have out of nowhere. Building a mech is a huge feat, especially in this world where they obviously haven't shown them being able to create something outside of their normal weaponry. Now, some people have said it could be a mix, of organic and machine life, which is more possible, actually. Plausible, I would say. But at the same time, there's one thing nobody has really talked about, and all Godzilla fans have it in the back of their mind, but nobody really ever talks about it, which is Destroya. And they use the zero hydrogen bomb, and the head of Hydra was basically in the area, and we're shown the head at the end. What if it's something that's like Destroya? Maybe it isn't Godzilla himself, right? Because if you look at the color of King Kong, they have the whole tranquilizer thing, so they're trying to keep him calm, or maybe that they're trying to keep him enraged. We don't know. But that's another thing. My theory is, what if Destroyer is the enemy, which I hope it is. I love Destroyer. But it isn't necessarily the Godzilla, that it looks like Godzilla, because then it would need Godzilla's DNA, right? And it would look like a mixture. So what if, because they stated in the last movie that the Alpha controls things, so what if this Destroyer is acting like more of an Alpha than Godzilla, or he's giving off signals that make Godzilla think of everything else as an enemy, because it's reacting in way of fight or flight, I guess you could ask, in Godzilla's fighter, or flight if it's weakened. So my theory, along with mecha-godzilla, my theory, which seems a little more plausible in sense of time, would be that maybe another creature, maybe it's not Destroyer yet, but another creature, or maybe a mixture of a human creation like the orca, is what's causing Godzilla to freak out. And not Kong, because Kong doesn't reply to those alpha signals. He doesn't reply to anything from that. He didn't reply to Godzilla, so they established that he doesn't bow to anything. Kong doesn't bow to no other god, no creature, and Godzilla is probably just trying to say, hey, there's a bigger threat here. I'm not trying to fight with you. But maybe it's a case of Godzilla being in a frenzy, freaking out. Maybe it was poisoned by this new creature, or it is mecha-godzilla. But I would like for them to go a little deeper, because if they did spoil it that it's mecha-godzilla, I would like them to say, we got you. Like, that was just them working on mecha-godzilla, which would make more sense to me, that they're building him rather than they built him. Because even if Monarch, or somebody against Monarch, would have been working on this, I doubt they would have had it by this movie, seeing as how things have been going and they're not prepared in the other movies. But that's just my 1 cent on it. What do you think? But anyways, I don't know how long this video is going to be. It was probably going to be longer, it's probably shorter, it's probably in between. But I just want to let you guys know, thank you if you watched it, and especially thank you if you watched till the end. Like, subscribe, give me the whole shebang. Please do keep watching. It's not just because I want to grow, but because I want to know that people are interested in what I have to say. And share it, please. Just please share. Like I said, I just want people to respond to my opinions, because I have opinions and theories of my own, but I don't really plan to do much of the theory. I just want to let you guys know. Thank you. And I'm glad that you stayed and watched.